Jonah. We're at another mastermind, and Austin was an amazing speaker. This is Austin Winsberg. He's a writer and producer of many different TV and films. He's had a lot of success, especially at a young age, and he's been working a lot for many, many years, which is really impressive.
You know, we talked about this a little bit. I think there's a few tools and things that I try to do to help myself. The first thing I mentioned was exercise. I think if you're feeling like you're in a depressed place, anything that you can do to kind of change your mentality or your physiology, your body chemistry, is always something that can help lift you up and energize you. The other thing that I always try to do is make sure that I have a few different projects going at the same time. I used to put all my eggs in one basket, and when that basket would crumble or break, it would devastate me for a period of time. And I've kind of learned over the years it's important to have different coals in the fire or different projects that you're working on. So if one of them should fall by the wayside, doesn't mean you can't mourn that or grieve that or feel sad about that, but it also means that you have other things that you are working on at the same time, so that it's not the only thing and it doesn't cripple your ability to be creative. I think it's important that, you know, one of the things I was talking about is that you can't have your entire self-worth rooted in the day-to-day whims of the industry. And so one of the ways to have your self-worth rooted in other things is to make sure that you have a balanced life. For me, that balanced life means wife and children and friends and activities on the weekend, and doing things that force you to be present and get you out of your own way. I think that's a big key thing for me, is that I can allot time for stuff, but then I also have to allot the other time for other things in my life, to have a life beyond just the work. And I also think the more that you can have a life and experiences outside of the work, the more that can inform the work. And the more that you can have depth in the work and to understand people better. And that comes from communication and relationships and making sure that you're being present as much as you can. And that's something that my wife definitely accuses me of being guilty of at times, is not always being present and being on my phone and trying to remind myself that it's important to take that time to have other things that are going on for you.
You mean I can enjoy my life and have a nice career?
I mean, it would be nice if you could find that balance. I'm not sure I've achieved it. I try to achieve it.
Well, you have a great family, you have great projects. I feel like you're doing it just fine.
I think compare and despair is not the best way to proceed in life. I think that you're always going to find people who are higher up on the ladder, who are doing things that you think you should be doing, and you know, their lives might not be as great as they present them on social media or whatever it is.
What?
Yeah, right. Who'd have thought? I think there's an expression that's something like 5 minutes to read, 5 days to get over, and
Variety,
and deadline and all that kind of stuff. And I think that that's definitely true, where people are always looking at the other person and saying, "Oh, why don't I have what they have?" But I think that puts you in a negative place. And I think that doesn't put you in a proactive place, and it doesn't put you in a place where you're setting yourself up for success, where you're sitting there comparing and saying, why don't I have what they have? So I think a more beneficial thing to do, and look, we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty as well of comparing and despair, but I don't know how healthy or beneficial that is. I think it's more beneficial to accept that you're on your own path, that there's room for success for everybody, that just because they're doing their thing does not preclude you from doing your thing as well. And it's important to recognize that it's a marathon and that we're all on our own path. A couple of things. I think the first thing is don't pass up opportunities. I think it's important to put yourself out there as much as you can and to not be too precious about it. So I think that, especially when you're starting off, I mean, whether that's doing a student film or web series or an acting class or a small black box theater, I think anything you can do to get experience and to also create a network of other people like you who are doing the same thing that you can lean on and support each other. I think not only does it give you experience, but you also know, you never know what's gonna come from it. You never know who's gonna see that thing. So I don't think you should shut yourself off to experience. And I think we should always be in a period of growth. We should always be exploring and learning and growing no matter where we are in our lives and careers. So that's my big advice is keep doing it, and also to try to persevere as much as you can, to be persistent, and to try to find some work-life balance, and to not let the lows get you too low, and to figure out ways to make sure that you're protecting yourself, and to know that your self-worth is not rooted in the day-to-day whims of the industry, because it's very up and down, and you got to make sure that you feel good about yourself in the process as much as you can.
Yes, very true, very true. Well, thank you so much, Austin.
Absolutely.